answer with something like Aphelios, but actually Weibo banned Lucian instead, so trimming down the AD carry pool significantly. It has to be Wukong. It's Wukong 100%. And then Weibo, you know, they have choices here. They can either lock in a powerful bot lane, which may be what they were looking to do. They could end up going for a jungle here, but I feel like if you're giving over the Wukong, you should have a really strong 1-2. Kalista is the AD carry left open when we talk about powerful combos, powerful duos. She is a big name to mention, and Kalista Renata has been a lane that's been so powerful. So now Ultra Prime, they have to answer this, and you could potentially see something like Aphelios plus Lulu is kind of decent. Aphelios has been picked up as a counter to Kalista, because obviously when Kalista gets up on your face, if you have red white, you just kill her before she can start stacking those Rens.
You've also got some good engage as well with the Gravitum. A lot of different answers, a lot of versatility coming out with the Aphelios. And I think ShiauC on something like a Nautilus makes an awful lot more sense. Like you said, the Lulu tends to be a bit more, but having that hard engage to come in, and Ultra Prime looking a little bit more comfortable with their draft now coming into game 2.
Yeah, the Nautilus works as well. You know, you have that engage potential. If Kalista does step up, you just press R, no way to outplay that. So I think Ultra Prime, they have the better jungler. They have a bot lane which can answer Weibo's reasonably well, although if things do get out of control, Weibo's bot lane can take over. And then SofM probably just gonna lock in the Lee Sin unless they have a really prominent mid or top they want. Like they could go the Kale and ban away counters, but I feel like with the jungle pool pinched and Lee Sin being a decent champion to try and deal with the Wukong, makes sense to lock that in now.
Yeah, you want to lock it in, make sure that the Wukong doesn't get any more favorable matchups. And now I like this from Weibo in terms of banning away the Swain, because you think about a fight that has a Wukong in it, it kind of starts on two different fronts. The initial Wukong engage that comes in with the Cyclone, and of course the second proc of his Cyclone ultimate. So if you have something that can just continuously survive in an engagement like that, like Swain, you will definitely give yourself a much bigger advantage. So Weibo was banning that one away, and we are seeing more of the TheShy bans coming out saying, look, we can see that you're getting comfortable on some things. We don't want you to be getting things like Fiora that can just take over a game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to fear that when it comes to those counter picks. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Kale as well. Gwen has already taken off the cards, so but it can't fit in that regard. But Weibo just targeting mid laners. First off, obviously, that's Swain, that's Silas. So a lot of those sort of bruiser AP mid laners who can pair well with the Wukong to get stuck into those fights. Hard to force out again, hard to deal with.
See what the final bad's going to be right now for Ultra Prime. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a Kale just hits TheShy off of something that it would be comfortable, but they do have counterpick for Weibo, so you know that he's going to be, he'll pick it either way, but he'll at least have an option to choose whether or not he wants the Kale, regardless of what Ultra Prime put into it. And now Weibo, you got to most likely pick your mid laner here, and I think Angel on the Twisted Fate makes so much sense. He's been playing this all split, and it still looks fantastic in his hands.
Yeah, normally when we see Silas banned, it's like, oh, okay, they're going to pick TF. But I think Silas's rise in priority has meant that it's not a guaranteed. Still, though, syncs well with the Lee Sin. You have that point-and-click stun to set up the Sonic Wave and gives you the map coverage, right? If we talked about the bot lane, if Weibo can get ahead, it can make all the difference, and they have a strong mid-jungle to do so. Now, Ultra Prime go for the Galio mid, something that can follow up the Wukong on the dive, can match the prior of the match the Roman ability off the Twisted Fate. And Zoom is going to go for the Aatrox, something we haven't really seen in the LPL that much since we've come to this patch. Obviously, the Grievous Wounds nerf helps him a lot. We've definitely seen him a bit round and about, but like I said, not the highest priority in the LPL so much, just a few games he's been brought out. And TheShy will just play it safe and go for the Gnar.
Yeah, the Gnar does give you an awful lot of good engage. It kind of, you know, enables the likes of something like the Kalista, where you're able to kind of give you that distance, get that big Gnar ultimate into a wall. And it's something like an Aatrox and a Wukong, who do want to be trying to get on top of your AD carry's face, can create that distance there as well. So I like this pickup coming out from TheShy. He's had his fun game where on the Kale, so he's moving now onto a little bit more of a safer pick. And honestly, I think both teams should be happy with what they got. I think Ultra Prime this time around have much better options available to them. And Cryin back on an old favorite of the Galio. We know how strong he can be on this pick.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, like, TF is kind of the one we think of when we think of Cryin back in the RNG days when they won MSI. But Galio functions similarly, right? You have that ability to roam. And honestly, you can even cheat roams earlier than the Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate waiting for that Destiny. Galio can just Predator pre-6. Make it happen, move across the map, and be there for those skirmishes. The CC layering, the burst damage from Galio, really powerful. So I feel like once more, strong mid jungle from both sides. The edge I would probably give over to Ultra Prime here due to the fact they have the Wukong. So it really comes down to how Weibo can match it. And then this bot lane could be a really volatile one. If the Aphelios gets ahead, the Kalista can never really step up to him. If the Kalista gets ahead, then she can just take over the lane, especially pre-6 when the Nautilus doesn't have that point-and-click answer. If you dodge away from the dredge line, what else are they going to be able to do to you?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I think the big kind of initiation is going to come out from ShiauC, and if he can make something happen with that Nautilus. We've seen good and bad performances from ShiauC on the Nautilus. We'll see if today is a good one, but we're going to jump onto the Rift. Predator for Cryin already got those boots, and Angel kind of saying, look, I just need gold right now. He is going full cash Twisted Fate right now and saying, I just need as much gold as I physically can get.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense because particularly TF gets a lot of attack speed for free from his E. It was something that was nerfed on him a while ago, so not as much as then. But like AD damage into Galio is pretty effective. You've even seen, I believe, like LeBlanc's into Galio in history go things like Doran's Blade, just because you're going to be autoing repeatedly. That's going to be main form of harass, especially as Cryin has the magic damage shield in his W. So it just helps you push. You use that AD, those autos to just consistently apply that pressure.
Right. Coming into the game, we're going to see both junglers starting roughly on the top side of the map. They've got a bit of time if they want to try and change, but makes sense to be kind of starting top, pathing bot lane. This bot lane very volatile for both sides. I feel like if L can get ahead of Huanfeng, this is where we start to see the Kalista priority fall down. Kalista, fantastic if it gets ahead, but if it falls behind, you are in a pretty dire situation at that point.
Yeah, I mean, momentum's going to be everything in this game. I feel like we've had a lot of scaling games today, which, you know, obviously if you get ahead with a scaling pick, then the game is just over. But in this one, there's a lot of early pressure, and ShiauC going in pretty confidently, but will get chunked out.
Yeah, they're going to go and get ShiauC all the way down to about a third of his HP, so he's going to be burning through his pots immediately, so he's already losing that kind of thing. And this is why you kind of have the Kalista Renata lane, and we haven't really had a chance to kind of discuss it at length, and this is the power you have. But tell me why we're seeing such a priority put on this specific bot lane combination.
So the big thing is that one of the things that Kalista loves is extended fights. And particularly with the durability changes, you're more likely to get extended fights, back up the spears. And Renata is so fantastic at making the fight longer. You know, there's moments where Kalista is trying to get a kill and just can't get in range to rend. Renata gives you an extra couple of seconds with the W. So you get to that point where you get enough spears in, you rend, you get the reset if you have actually been taken down. It's a really powerful combo, but also in the laning phase, you have the fact that like both champions have like allied hit passives. Renata autos a target, and then her ally autos them and gets her passive again, like the bonus magic damage. And it works in reverse with Kalista's W, both lane partners auto, and they do that bonus damage. So very good for range to rest in the lane, very good to help bolster what Kalista wants to do. And then also, one of the big punishments to Renata is bursting her out before she can get someone low for a reset, and you have that safety net of the ultimate.
Hacker is in the mid lane though and is spotted out SofM. He's going to flash away. Nice gold card from Angel just to stop any kind of follow-up damage, but does lose a summoner because of it.
Yeah, so ends up being that, and I think a really positive thing that people can do is targeting the TF early, beating down the summoners, putting pressure so he can't move. And now Cryin can move down here, but Angel really does not want to follow. SofM does manage to get the Scuttle Crab though, and should just be able to ward hop out.
Yeah, he's looking for it. It was a little bit far away, I will say. It is a bit of a gap there, but wastes as much time of Cryin as possible, and then after getting the Scuttle, gets himself out to safety. So you can see it here. I think, does he spot him out as he goes in? Or no, he just fully doesn't see him at all, and forces the early flash from Angel.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the expectation is if your jungler is on that side, you're safe on that one, which is why Angel was a bit overextended. But it does mean SofM, he gets that bot side Scuttle. He can just rotate up here and would have been able to pick up the Scuttle on the top side. He's just going to check Wukong's not behind him and will take that one. And now Hacker, he's down in farm a little bit. Oh, big play.
Massive move there. They flash in on the Huanfeng, but a good handshake just moves everyone back away. So you invest a lot. You don't really gain a lot apart from some health bars traded, but good move there from Ultra Prime's bot lane.
Yeah, they try and make something happen, but no summons been, so Weibo going to be completely happy with this. More than comfortable in this position. And it's just a flash burn from ShiauC now. SofM still has like his red buff up on the top side. I'm not sure if he's assuming it's been taken, and that's why he's not going towards it, but Hacker is going to challenge him in the jungle.
He's going to challenge him now. No smite here for SofM. Smite available for Hacker, but Hacker does not know that, so he's going to back himself away and just recognize that he does not have priority in bot lane to really make that play work.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing, is so far, bot lane has been going positively for Ultra Prime. We'll see if that can change further on, but SofM tracked quite heavily in his jungle, will be spotted out here. So they obviously, Ultra Prime's bot lane know that he's there, shouldn't go too aggressive in this situation. And it looks like Weibo's bot lane just trying to get a reset off.
Trying to get a little bit of a reset going for themselves as On clears out a little bit of vision that has been picked up. Now SofM maybe trying to see if he can get a reset coming in here now, go towards the top side of his jungle, maybe pick up something there. The funny thing is, despite him not taking his red buff, he hasn't actually lost anything just yet. So he's actually ahead on farm, about 2 or 3 or so camps actually at this point. So Weibo doing fine in this situation, even if they are ignorant of the actual information itself.
And I think it's because Hacker spent more time trying to chase kills or invade SofM than just clearing through his jungle. So in a bit of a net negative here, which obviously isn't ideal on the Wukong. We obviously saw that previous game what Wukong could do if he finds the early skirmish and gets ahead. And it feels like Akka's just chasing that dream of getting the early double kill and getting miles ahead of your opponent.
It is a bit of an unfortunate dream that now is slowly turning into a bit of a nightmare, because like I said, he's about 4 camps down now. It's actually getting bigger by the second, so he needs to start getting back onto his farming duties and getting back out onto the map, because this Lee Sin is a full level ahead. SofM will hit 6 before Hacker, and that is just a definitive truth of this matchup.
Yeah, that can make all the difference. We saw earlier today there was that top lane skirmish where the Lee Sin didn't have the ultimate available and how different it could have been. SofM though, what?
I'm not quite sure.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
That was such a weird passage of play.
I like how you paused to be like, all right, and then they were just like, no, absolutely not. But yeah, that was a weird passage of play, but it does mean that SofM secures himself the...
SofM's just like, these are my Raptors, and they're like, yeah. What?
It's like, you're doing well. You're not doing that well. Like,
yeah, and then SofM somehow gets out without using his flash. Yeah, a bit of an odd one, but either way, we will see the dragon secured. SofM will pick that one up and has now hit that level 6 point, so big power spike available. Angel also has the Destiny if he wants to try and make some plays through the silent. But for now, despite a bit of an early lead for Weibo and that dragon being secured, still pretty close between both teams.
And you can see as well, with Hacker almost level 6, he's going to have to take away the blue buff, give himself that big power spike. And look, you don't necessarily need to give it over to Cryin on the Galio. Would be nice, of course, if you want to try and get him to play the waves as much as he possibly can. But Hacker's saying, look,
XP, dude.
I was going to say, at this point, he's like, I need my level 6. I'm sorry, you can't get this.
And Angel does have the flash available again, so we'll have to do a lot of work to try and find another window. I do like that the target in the mid lane. I feel like you target the TF rather than a lane that he can roam to, but they're not going to find anything. And you know, that flash they got earlier, there's always the argument that, okay, if Angel doesn't have flash, he's not able to move in the skirmish, he's not able to play as aggressive. Sure, that's completely true. But if you don't punish him, if you don't get something out of it, then really, what was the point of being in that summoner? Yeah,
that's the big thing. It's yes, you burn the flash, that's all well and good, but we look across the map, it's actually ShiauC the only one without his flash right now, and Weibo are happy chilling right now. They are giving themselves a nice little bit of a calming start, and for Weibo, you know, previously the Suning lineup that went to the 2020 World Finals up against Damwon, this is an organization that wants to see success. And I think with the roster they built at the start of 2022, this is a roster that very much was built to find that kind of, you know, redeeming success, get themselves back up into the World Championship, and maybe even contest for an LPL title.
I mean, I think a lot of people look at this roster. I think they had faith that potentially the old Suning roster could be really capable. Add TheShy in. How do you think it makes sense? And they even started the split pretty effectively. One of the 2 teams to take down V5 in the regular season, but just couldn't follow through. And I think inconsistency is something that has heavily plagued this lineup so far this year. You really just on the day don't know what form of Weibo you're going to get and who's going to step up and who's going to underperform. We'll say for the time being, TheShy is having a great time top lane, applying the pressure on the Gnar. Has a CS lead mid lane. Angel also has a CS lead. He's close to cashing in the Cole. We have Cole gaming from both solo laners. Weibo are just farming, and across the top side of the map, they are pulling ahead as a result.
Yeah, just big farm leads in top and jungle. Mid has a little bit as well. I will say bot lane's a little bit falling behind, but of course we have seen On roaming around a little bit, and he's also freezing the wave as Huanfeng right now. Don't think he's going to be able to freeze it too effectively. It looks like they are set up ready to go, but we're going to look at On, who's already got himself the hostile takeover, so he's looking to try and maybe roam around, set up around this dragon in 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, and that ult can be really impactful here because you're against 4 melee champions and an Aphelios who is quite short ranged. Like, especially as a lot of the team of Ultra Prime want to try and dive you. Like the Aphelios will function well if you get up in his face, but if you're trying to dive Weibo, they have so many anti-dive tools. It's another reason why this Kalista Renata is so potent is because they are like the premier anti-dive combo. If you try and get on top of this bot lane, On can create space for Kalista. Kalista can just kite you. As long as you don't burst them out quickly enough, they should be able to just create space and just hammer you down.
And as long as Huanfeng and On do not give over a kill here, you can see in top lane, TheShy is just forcing an early back from Zoom, and that's going to mean a tower play or two for the Gnar. He's already 20 CS ahead. He's getting himself into a very powerful position. We're already, regardless of the lack of kills, it's a 2,000 gold lead or just under it because of the advantages that Weibo have just found themselves in their solo lanes.
Yeah, and Aatrox hasn't really been doing too much so far.
We'll do a bit now. Shy should just be totally fine to try and trade that
he can
one
just
back.
hop out.
But yeah, he'll hop out and he'll be fine. But he's already pushed it in the wave, which means he knows he gets a free reset. He's not going to lose anything off of that. And honestly, you go back and pick up the makings of his first item, if not like the whole thing. He's got himself a fairly decent lead.
Yeah, and he's going to cash in the call. We've already got Angel who's done his, so he's got the Everfrost available. Plus picked up a dagger as a bonus. No, I feel like Weibo are fine with the pace of this game right now. I do want to see some proactive play come out from either side, just in all honesty. But I think Weibo has shown that they will just... It's LPL, of course we want proactive play. But ultimately, at the moment, Weibo are kind of fine with how the lanes have played out. And they'll be able to come in the mid game and really hit hard. I think 2 items for TF is big. When he gets a rapid fire cannon, 2 items for Huanfeng is big. Normally it's shield bow into Ginsu's. That is pretty powerful.
This is unfortunate timing there for Ultra Prime. They're going to drop down the Rift Herald in mid. It's only going to pick up the 2 plates, if even, because they're not even quite there. They haven't got a minion wave to kind of escort this one up, so it will end up getting its charge off. So 2 plates goes over to Hacker, but just the difference we've seen in Game 1 compared to Game 2 with the power that this Wukong has had in Game 1 for Weibo, which it just doesn't seem to have for Hacker right now. And honestly, I think Weibo are doing a very good job of saying, we know how to mitigate this pick. We know how to kind of work with it. I will say Hacker did spend a lot of time looking for opportunities that he just never found. But with Dragon now alive, they maybe try and make something work here. There's got some pretty decent vision control here to Ultra Prime, and Weibo are going to have to try and face check if they want to make something work. Oh.
Well, they're looking for something here.
They're going to get the hook down. There's the hostile takeover. ShiauC will keep himself alive just barely. The ignite will not be enough, but the gold card on the Zoom is going to keep him locked in place. Hacker does not get the knock up onto On. As he flashes away, the Destiny Gate is coming out here. The hook will land onto TheShy, who can't hop his way out of this one. And TheShy just does TheShy things, and he gets himself killed.
You can see he was getting close to the Mega Gnar, and he wanted to be in position to try and make it happen, but he just gets turned on. Great target selection from Ultra Prime. They just delete him from the map, and now you are looking at this dragon, but I think Weibo actually feel confident contesting. A lot of tools used by Ultra Prime, but to be honest, Weibo lacking a lot themselves.
But you got 10 seconds so TheShy can come back in with the mini Gnar. It looks like they're maybe going to try and delay for that. ShiauC not here just yet, so it's a 4v4 natively until the very last second. But SofM's nowhere near this dragon. The TP's going to be coming in. They're going to look to try and trade this one back, but it is side of Ultra Prime who secure it. There's the Moonlight Vigil coming in. Does he throw On over the wall? He does not. He holds his trigger, but now Elk in the wrong place at the wrong time gets gold card and forced to flash away, but TheShy says you cannot get away. Never mind, they can turn this onto him. He's almost taken down right at the last second, but he will not fall. Weibo get a kill, but Ultra Prime get the dragon.
Yeah, I think Ultra Prime are happy. They got the dragon. They traded 1 for 1. TheShy TP's back in to nearly die again. That was a bit of a close one, but in the end, does manage to survive. It's 2k gold lead for Weibo right now. They're still the ones who have that advantage, but Ultra Prime managing to find the window win, I think, is the main one. And disengaging effectively. I think that was the concern, is that maybe the cleanup kills could have been problematic. And you see, I think it's fantastic moves from Cryin just to completely zone away SofM. Doesn't let him get close to the dragon, but then SofM, this kick flash essentially connects with 3 people, dashes over the wall after Hacker goes down, and that's the positive play. But ultimately, Elk managing to survive with TheShy so close to getting the kill, but the healing comes in with the Severum, and he has to just instantly disengage.
That's 1-1, about a 1,500 gold lead for Weibo, dragging a piece, and we are starting to get the first items completed across the board, even an item and a half every now and again. So, Immortal Shield Bow picked up here for Huanfeng means he's going to be in a much better trading position than his counterpart Elk. But right now, Ultra Prime not unhappy with the state of things. This Aatrox is going to continue to get big, and this Aatrox will be a bit of a menace if he's able to find that backside. So, it's going to be a lot on TheShy to make something happen. You can see even TheShy in that last fight was getting very impatient and just kind of wanted something to happen. Felt like there hasn't been enough action, and it nearly turns really poorly on him right at the end.
Yeah, it got a little bit tentative now. Oh, On could be in trouble.
On could be in trouble. On is in trouble. There is the hostile takeover. The bailout will be good just to keep him alive for a couple more seconds, but that just donates the kill over to Elk. While that's happening, though, you do have a push in bot lane for Weibo. They should be able to pick up this turret, and it will be the first turret of the game for them if they're able to do it. SofM, though, not willing to let this Rift Tail go just yet. A lot was kind of invested to kill off On there, as we can see TheShy. Now we're going to see the ultimate used by Zoom. He's going to be able to hop himself away, though, as TheShy nearly mega needs to respect the damage coming out from this Everfrost Galio.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Weibo know they can't really contest the Herald. SofM's not going to try and steal because it'd be very difficult to get out again. That's a good pick from Ultra Prime. They're starting to make more proactive plays. We're starting to see some positive gameplay. And as much as it's still first tower for Weibo to keep them ahead in gold, Ultra Prime are trying to make this competitive, especially after that first game where Weibo stomped them so handily.
Yeah, and actually we saw the TP coming out from Cryin just to stop Huanfeng pushing in that bot side. Funny enough, he was actually completely uncontested and was going to remain so. Might have even got himself at least half the health bar down on that tier 2 if he was left to his own devices. But wasn't to be, and now Ultra Prime, again, still down in gold, but still finding decent proactive plays. And it's exactly what you wanted to see. You were saying that, like, the big thing we didn't see in game 1 was they weren't proactive. They weren't looking to make plays themselves. It was very much them reacting to what Weibo were doing. And now Weibo finding a little bit of the opposite side of this matchup now, that they need to be the ones who kind of, like, look for those fights as well.
Yeah, and I think this is a point where, I mean, bear in mind, Angels has completed his second item. Chef obviously gets extra gold because of his passive. He also has got the inspiration tree. I didn't see if he went Futures Market, but had the cold cash in. So for all these things, like, he has 2 items completed. A lot of people have just completed their first, so this is the TF being really powerful with those long-range stun cards. I think Weibo are in a position where they can start to challenge. They're about 3,000 gold up, dragging in a minute. I want to see them make fights happen and start to pick apart Ultra Prime.
Well, looks like it's going to start with the mid lane. Shelly's going to get another bop into that mid lane and should be taking that turret down. The Gravitum good onto On, but the hostile takeover is good as well. Going to see Elk having to cleanse because he was going to do a hell of a lot of damage onto his mid laner. So, not to be outdone, we may see Huanfeng go for a little bit of an engage, but they need to disengage because they didn't realize that everyone was clumped up and they're all looking for the fight right now. But with the Gale Force, or excuse me, the Galio ultimate and the Cyclone use, Huanfeng will finally fall down. Cryin will be the going into stasis as Wukong does lose his life. Now it's all onto TheShy if he can get up into Mega, but he cannot get on top of everybody. He's trying his hardest. Angel is getting so much work done on the backside of this fight, and right now it's all about the solo laners as a triple kill comes in for TheShy.
Solo laners come up huge for Weibo. TheShy just doing so much damage in the fight. Angel with the repeated stun cards, and I'm going to be real, Weibo bot lane kind of ran it. I mean, in particular Huanfeng, but it just didn't matter. They were able to find the fight in that sort of situation where everyone was getting up close and personal. And Weibo, I said I wanted them to see them take a fight, and they find it. So, you know, the bit I'm critical of is this initial start. Huanfeng, it's a Renata. Throwing a Renata into start a fight is not the play, but despite that, he walks up as if he's going to. ShiauC ults him, and then they're ready to dive. The Renata W comes in, and then what ends up actually happening is it times out, so he gets killed off by Cryin. So Huanfeng, not the greatest performance, but TheShy, in the meantime, he's just decimating everyone.
You can see TheShy and Angel just constantly having great target selection, specifically Angel getting those gold cards onto the primary targets. Really well played by TheShy and Angel to really kind of salvage this play. And honestly, like you said, it was very much the Weibo bot lane giving a lifeline to Ultra Prime, but then SofM with a fantastic Dragon Rage kick. Actually CC'd about 3 people in a clump, so it was very, very good to see from him. And then, of course, we just saw Angel and TheShy absolutely mincing down everybody else. We'll see SofM trying to take away a pink ward, but won't be allowed to have it. While that we're in that replay, we did have the Infernal Drake going over to Weibo, so they've got that objective for themselves. And now they got to figure out where they want to try and transition this. You've got TheShy on a massive power spike right now, and he's going to be very, very powerful. Already you can see him. Maybe he's looking for a flank.
Oh, caught out a bit.
Caught out a little bit, but has he been caught out? Because Elk's the one who's been isolated. He flashes over the wall, only to be followed by TheShy, who's now in mega form, trying to see if he can kill off Hacker, and it looks like he's going to be able to do it. There's 3 kills to Weibo, and in the blink of an eye, Ultra Prime had everything, and now they have nothing. They will get aced one more time. It's a triple kill for TheShy again, and now they can go for Baron.
They're just absolutely decimating them. This game, I thought it was going to be closer. That game 1 was a stomp. The draft felt like it gives some more hope to Ultra Prime, but in the team fights, the Renata Kalista creates so much space, but it's just TheShy. TheShy again and again, finding the perfect angle to jump on whoever he wants and just stomp Ultra Prime into the ground. And Elk, the person who you think is going to have the DPS to cut through him, nowhere near close to it. Doesn't have the items right now, and it's just getting destroyed every opportunity. You saw Weibo shut him out of that fight really early on. That's where it kind of comes in. So on, someone gets engaged initially, but it's a Renata, has that ultimate he can use to create space, and then Elk just goes down. And as soon as Elk is gone with red-white guns, I think TheShy kind of knows he is just immortal. No one has enough damage to finish him off on the enemy team.
Yeah, and then once Hacker, again, this massively powerful Wukong pick, just who else is going to be able to contest him? It just really feels like Ultra Prime are not on the same page, not thinking about these engages. You could even see it was like everyone went for it except for Elk, which meant Elk was completely isolated in that last skirmish. And now, out of nowhere, it's a 10,000 gold lead out of literally one play.
And I thought this was going to be the game. Yesterday was double speedruns. Series earlier was a speedrun. I thought this was the one where Ultra Prime could put up the fight, but at the moment, it is looking like they're hard-pressed to find an advantage. With the Baron coming in, SofM is just zoning them off the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do right now? You're going to try and find SofM, but SofM is currently soloing Hacker at the moment. And with the gold cards landing off to the side, Angel's just a constant threat. And what's Zoom going to do? Zoom can do nothing into TheShy right now. TheShy has a hull breaker, so he's completely uncontestable.
Yeah, I mean, the fact he has that advantage, he was already winning lane against Zoom. Zoom was not having a fun time early, and now it just feels like he's getting bullied into the ground. He might just take an inhib tower here if Zoom can't stop him.
I mean, yeah, like Zoom's already down below half HP. If TheShy goes into Mega, he has kill potential. If he lands a couple more bits of poke, but like, what can you do here as Ultra Prime? There's nothing. You got to try and go for something. TheShy will end up using his ultimate to keep that cannon alive. That cannon's name is George, and he is putting in work onto this turret. In fact, uses that cannon minion to take it down. And yeah, I think Weibo just, they can't put a foot wrong right now.
Yeah, and Weibo take the mid lane. Tier 2 tower. Look at the inhib tower. And Ultra Prime, it's like you have to let your bot lane inhib go, or you're losing your mid one too.
Choose one or the other. You cannot defend both, and TheShy is just too big. Even now with SofM playing bodyguard, what can you do? You can even see Huanfeng keeping that cannon minion going. Now with the bot lane fully exposed, Weibo will continue their assault. TheShy gets back into Mega. He still has his ultimate. You can't really contest this.
Yeah, I feel like Ultra Prime are just letting die into 1,000 cuts at this point. Shy's looking for Zoom. We'll chunk him out even more, but fight starting.
Here we go. There's the hostile takeover over SofM looking for something on a little bit of a solo mission, and he shall die, because that's what SofM does. And now, while they come back into live, it is going to be both junglers dead, but that hurts Ultra Prime more than it hurts Weibo, because you still haven't dealt with TheShy. 2 inhibitors down. The Baron Bull finally goes off, and they feel comfortable to go for it. Cryin trying to see if he can get something on the backside of this one here, and they will take out On, who does not get bailed out. Cryin, though, hasn't got himself any more damage, and he used all of his movement tools to make the play. Now they can jump down onto Elk and see if they can take him out as well. TheShy, though, you're taking up 2 towers, my dude, and you will eventually fall. It's a triple kill for Huanfeng. He's thinking like he needs one more just to make sure he gets the quadra, and this is Weibo in 2 games in utterly dominant fashion. Maybe not right now, but they're going to be winning this game.
Oh, Huanfeng. Thought he was going to maybe go for the Penta there, but opts against it. The 2 towers enough to ward him away. Despite the fact Ultra Prime probably find the most favorable play for them in the game, well, at least in the last 5 or so minutes, they just aren't able to win out. Huanfeng ends up being able to take the extended fight, stacking up the Ren stacks and just dismantles Ultra Prime. They'll pick up the 3rd dragon of the game, but the base is absolutely in shambles right now.
I mean, we'll look at this replay here. You have to do something as Ultra Prime. It's too little too late.
The problem is, if you're not getting on top of Huanfeng and instantly killing him, he's just going to be able to get so much value. Huanfeng uses flash there, and then the extended fight again. You know, they try and look for On, but On's not really the target. That's a priority. He ends up going down. He uses W to buy some time, but no one is challenging Huanfeng. Cryin tries to, but he just gets turned around on.
Yeah, and again, long extended fights. If you're not able to take out the Kalista, that's what she does. And this was just TheShy taking up 2 towers because why the hell not? Now Cryin, I think he might be dead. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go from think he might be dead to he is absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, going to die here. It's just about who gets it. It is TheShy who picks it up. Now we have our target for who they want to get the pentakill because already 1 kill has gone down. There's the flash in with the hook. It doesn't land, but the dredge line doesn't need to be needed as they do get a kill onto Angel. There's going to be a disengaging ult from TheShy. Weibo are just having fun with their food. They just waited for the waves to come in. There's a flash kick onto Elf and he tried to get soloed out, but he's got himself red and white, so he's ready to fight. They will eventually take down SofM and the Weibo. They're having a bit of fun. It's On and Huanfeng who are trying to make this one work for their team. Even now, Huanfeng with the Immortal Shield Bow will be just that. Immortal Zoom, trying to be the immortal being demon that he can possibly be. Another quadra kill, not to be outdone by the 2 triples of TheShy. Huanfeng picks up 2 quadras, 2-0, and Huanfeng, get those arms pumping, buddy. Let's go. Get excited.
Again, hyped after that game. Weibo, game 1 was just clear, complete stomp. Game 2, I honestly thought Ultra Prime had a hope at some point, but they just weren't able to find it. The team fight execution from Weibo, far better. I was starting to see like the potential of this team, right? Weibo is a team who has been inconsistent, who've had their moments, particularly in playoffs up against EDG, but also had moments where we really questioned them. This was a day where there were no questions. It was just Weibo dominance.
Yeah, it was just Weibo from start to finish. And I think this unfortunately for Ultra Prime kind of leaves open a lot to be desired. This was against a team that we would have argued would have been very close to them in the standings, would have been a team that they should have been able to give up a bit more of a fight. But honestly, it just felt like at every turn, at every point, there was just nothing for them to get done. And yeah, there's just, what else can I say other than, yeah, Weibo were the better team in every fashion.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they got the Wukong for Hacker, and it felt like he was running around the map trying to make things happen, and SofM just
didn't look comfortable.
Yeah, he wasn't able to find any skirmishes that worked. Weibo were happy just to farm up in the laning phase. Top lane was a disaster. Zoom on the Aatrox just got wrecked by TheShy, and then it came to team fights, and even that first team fight where I was critical of Weibo's bot lane, like Huanfeng kind of misplayed it. It didn't matter, right? The fact that one of your pivotal members, your AD carry, can misplay, and you still just clearly win the fight, it kind of felt like the beginning of the end from then.
Yeah, it really did. And it really felt like Weibo were just having fun at the end, honestly. They were just kind of diving in, going for 1v1s. They were never going to be able to win because they knew the game was over at that point. And for Ultra Prime, it's a little bit of a wake-up call, I gotta feel like, for this team. This is not a result they probably would have expected, especially not in this fashion. And we kind of look back to some of the games, or even look forward, I should say, to some of the games they've got to play now. And it's not, you know, you've played, I think, what, JDG out of the top 8. You now go up against RNG. You've then got EDG in 2 weeks' time. Like, it's not exactly an easy run of form over the next few weeks. And this could make or break your season right now, right in the middle.
Hey, we have the similar goal graph, though. I mean, I think the thing is that Ultra Prime got the early dragon, and that kind of gave us some hope. But if you look at the goal graph again, like, they fell behind, and they never got the goal lead back. But they kept it even for longer. You can kind of see that, like, there wasn't too much of a lead from Weibo until they just hit that point where they just were like, yeah, the game's ours. And
yeah,
they
literally 10,000 out of nowhere.
I mean, TheShy is just such a DPM player. Like, I remember last split, like, even though he was spamming Sion for such a long time, he still had like the highest. He had the highest DPM of any top laner in the league, despite the fact he'd played so many Sion games. He is just a I will do damage player, and in this game on this Gnar, he really did work. This is TheShy. This is peak TheShy, right? You know, there's definitely games.
You may not like
it. Comes to mind where he's a little bit less peak TheShy will say.
Even had a little bit of crit right at the end.
Yeah.
Just picking up that zeal.
I mean,
just be like,
he was going all out. Death Stance. I mean, honestly, Death Stance was a pretty big pickup for either team because there's so much AD damage. The mid laners really don't have too much. They're kind of those facilitate to CC picks. So I think TheShy just kind of realized he could achieve immortality.
Yeah, and look, you know, we obviously meme on TheShy. He does do some fairly off-the-wall things that happen in games, but you cannot deny that this man is still 100% class regardless of what team he's in, regardless of how he's performing, because he always performs. He always, as you mentioned last split, even last year, he was still looking at one of the highest DPMs. You know, this is a team that I feel like when they can play together like Weibo did today, this is a team that could challenge pretty much anybody. I would love to see this team just